What is going on YouTube? It is Primitive here, and today I'm going to be bringing you another BT9 locals match. Today we're going to be having a little bit slower of a matchup. We have 3 Musketeers on the left, a pretty control style deck, one that can get pretty aggressive later in the game when you start playing Beelstars for free and being able to play those nail bones. And on the other end we're going to have 3 Musketeer, a deck that is also semi-control-y, does have a lot of removal, but is also a deck that is able to get decently aggressive once you start going wide with the card that we just saw grab right there, the Mastemon. Once you're able to get that in trash, DNA Digivolve up into the Mastemon, you do have a pretty good removal set going on there. But starting off with the Gato for the Masty, and then on the other end, gonna go with the Mat Sora, getting that blue source live because they do play the Cocytus Breath, and then also just being a card that can give you a decent amount of memory. If you have 8 or more in your hand, you get to gain a memory, and if your opponent has 8 or more in their hand, you get to gain a memory. So both these decks are decks that will probably get pretty big hand sizes, so pretty good card. It's just that when you consider in the Mastemon that we were talking about earlier, it can pop Tamers, so they can pop that, and you're only playing so many blue Tamers in this deck, so it could shut down your blue cards. But looking at the hand in there, see a couple Fly Bullets as well as seeing the Scatter mode, but just gonna go and drop a Fly Bullet right now. Gonna get rid of the Magna that was on top of the Gazi, so shutting down that end of turn DNA Digivolve, which is very big for Mastemon. Kind of like their biggest game plan is to get that Gatomon, be able to Digivolve either a purple or a yellow level 5 on top, and then hard play the other one, so that way you can just go for the end of turn DNA Digivolve. But gonna go with the Maycrack here. That does allow you to discard a card, so getting that Mastemon in trash. So once we DNA Digivolve up, we are chilling. You do have to be wary though that if you give your opponent more than 3 or more memory without getting rid of the Maycrack, then that does give them the ability to Digivolve a Gazi up on one of these rookies, and then Digivolve for 1 into an ultimate, and then DNA Digivolve. So going into Scatter and back puts you at 0, then hard plating the Gabu, so putting your opponent at 3. So if they do have the Gato and the ultimate plus the Masty, they can go for that just full combo right now, which would be able to put a lot of pressure on the board. You're already going decently wide compared to your opponent. Being able to get out the Mastemon would be able to pop a Tamer, and then Mastemon effect to pop one of the Digimon, and then you just pop that blocker and your opponent's not doing too much. But we see a Gatomon, but not the correct Gatomon. Going with the black Gatomon, which is going to have Retaliation, which might come in handy later in the game when you start getting Beelstars and Death Xmons out. But I do see the Death Xmon in hand, but you can't play it for the reduced cost because of the Psychmon that's on the board. So that is going to be a card that you're going to have to get rid of if you want to get that Death X out there. I don't know how many Tamers they are playing in the Mastemon list. I know they are playing the Meiku Purple Tamer, and then potentially Matt as well, and then I could also see potentially the BT8 Kari. But right there, try to see the Death Xmon. Actually just cannot play the card because it is a 20 cost, so gonna have to take it back because it is not even legally able to be played for full memory there. So gonna learn about the Psychmon right there, but go for the Gazi. Gonna go with the Gazi X Antibody, which is gonna be able to trash 3, hitting decent cards right there, being able to get 2 into their trash. That will help reduce the Beelstarmon, and then just gonna go with the Vilemon to pass turn here, setting up a blocker that does trade into the Maycrackmon if they wanted to swing in, but that seems very dangerous, and I doubt that they're gonna do that. But setting up a second Vilemon does make it so you can stop any swings going in right now. Obviously, if they full swing in, they're going to get some good swings in, but they just don't want to swing with many of their Digimon. So double Vilemon really slowing down what they can do, and then just going to go with the Gatomon in back. You have the Maycrackmon out right now, so now you're kind of putting pressure on your opponent to get rid of it, or else you are threatening to go into Masty next turn, and I just feel like the 3 Musk player isn't far enough ahead to be able to really handle that right now. They do have removal to get rid of Mastemon itself, but just losing your own resources and your opponent going wide, and then your only real response being to come back with a 7 cost option removal isn't going to be the best. So right here, going with the Calling of the Darkness here, and then going to be able to get the on deletion effects to draw and discard. Just had to resolve the Calling first there, but trying to just get some cycle going. We did see a little glimpse at the hand. We can see it right there as well. Not too much going on. There is just 1 option card, I believe. So this does give them a little bit way to cycle. They just didn't cycle anything too strong, but they did grab back the Scatter mode, so you can put that in Raising. Next turn, promote it up and just swing in. So that is what they're going to do here. We don't have any memory Tamers on either player's board right now, so not really something that either player has to worry about, so just keep trying to give them minimal memory. But now we have the Gatomon promote, going to be able to Digivolve into Lady Devimon for 1, Digivolve for draw, then effect draw 2, and then trash 2, so going to be able to get that draw 3, trash 2, just getting a couple ultimates in there, maybe potential extras, but also just setting up the trash for things like Mastemon later. But I'm going to start swinging in right now. We do have a Vilemon still be able to block, but going to swing in and punish by hitting the Cocytus Breath. I mean, there is a lot of different forms of removal that could get hit there, but being able to bounce back the Lady Devi so that way you get rid of your Gato stack, as well as the ability to DNA Digivolve right here, is pretty big. But now it looks like we're going to pass turn with the Flame Hell Scythe. Going to be able to get rid of that Vilemon. Gabu on deletion, going to proc, and then bring back the Gato. Gato on play. Does hit 2 targets there. Going to be able to get another level 5 and the Masty. We do know that the Lady Devimon is already in hand though because of the Cocytus. It was more so getting rid of the Gato, but Gato is back now. You do have a pretty good amount of memory. Going to gain another memory or 2 off of the mat right there, or the mat Sora. So you have enough at 7 to be able to play a removal card and then still keep turn. Gwalt Schwarmer here would be super powerful, being able to delete all 7 costs or less. Yes, you lose your own Digimon, but I don't think that matters too much. You'd be able to get so much value, but they would have to have it in hand. I didn't see it in trash, so you'd have to be able to play Beelstar, add a card to hand, and then play the Schwartz, and I don't see it in trash, and not trashing any option cards. Ooh, there's the Gwalt right there. That's actually very big. That right there is going to be able to clear everything off of the board. Now, the thing is with the Psychmon, you can't reduce the cost of Beelstarmon, so okay, I guess that answers that question. I was more so going to ask, are they just going to play it for full cost or play an option card to delete it? So, going to play the Fly Bullet, get rid of the Psychmon, then they can play the Beelstar, looks like, for just 1, and then going to be able to play the Gwalt Schwarmer, which is going to delete everything on the board, including the Gazi X on their end, but that Gazi X anybody's not doing too much right there. I'm fine with not swinging in there. You could have swung to get the extra check, but potentially hitting some sort of resource like a Tamer or even a Memory Boost could be a little scary. Just clear the board off so that way your opponent kind of has to restart. They don't have any Tamers. Their kind of aheadness on the board was through the Digimon on board, so with all of those gone and the threat mitigated for at least a couple turns, you are chilling now. Get another Gatomon in back, so still gonna have the Gato refill, but I mean, if you do Digivolve and then hard play, go up into Mastemon, DNA Digivolve, you're going to have to give your opponent a pretty decent amount of memory, and we're starting to get to that late game where Beelstar really starts to shine. Kind of looking at the hand, I could only see 2, or actually the Dracmons in there, and they're going to trash the Gabu, so I actually thought they only had the Gabumon X Antibody in the Imon, but they do have a couple rookie options in there. Getting rid of the Gabumon, but I would say yes, you get the Beelstar back right there, but you want something in Raising right now. You do have that Scatter Mode in hand, and being able to play that out would be pretty great. So just going to go ahead and Beelstar, play the Nailbone out here. Going to grab the Ginkaku as well as a Gazi, so stopping any memory gain here, but now just potentially going to be able to swing in here with 2 checks. Not enough to go in. Neither the Impmon, the Gazi, or the Beelstar that is unsuspended can attack, but they did just want to go ahead and just get out the Ginkaku for damage, it looks like. And then now going to go with the Calling, puts the opponent to 1, and then they're going to gain 2 with the TK Kari. So that was interesting operation of orders there on the turn, but I don't think it really matters too much. As of right now, the most impactful thing that your opponent can really do is DNA Digivolve up into Mastemon this turn, which is going to be good enough to clear a few things off the board, but not enough to really go for game. Like, I saw the Dracmon was in hand. They decided to not put the Dracmon in Raising to be able to promote next turn, which is interesting with how wide they're going. I know they're aware of the Mastemon being able to come out and clear, especially now with the Flame Hell Scythe. Going to be able to go in there, decides to grab the Maycrackmon so that way they can delete the Gazimon as well. They could have also went for Magna Angemon, I do believe, if they wanted to recover up, but now they get to end of turn DNA Digivolve into Mastemon. This is going to make it so that they can put the Lucemon in security, play out the Lucemon. Lucemon will delete 1 level 6 or lower, and then you'll be able to have the Mastemon effect. Unfortunately, Lucemon is only level 5 itself, so it can't delete the other Beelstar, but being able to at least clear 3 of the 4 Digimon on the board is nice. If we had that rookie in Raising last turn, we would have been able to swing or promote and double swing potentially for a game. So Saving the Dracomon to get calling value, I don't know how much you needed it. You do get to get Beelstars back here by getting rid of the Dracomon, but I still think with how aggressive we got last turn with going the Nailbone into the promote, putting a rookie in back just to get the swings in would have been nice. You would have been able to threaten it. Your opponent probably would have had to make a different play to try to clear things off the board, or, I mean, they already cleared 3 things off the board, so that might have been the best they could have done, so being able to just swing in there would have been nice. Thinking about what the second card they want to grab off the calling is, gonna go with a Gabumon, not the Scatter Mode, going with the Gabumon, going with the Beelstar there, and then gonna play the Beelstar out for, I believe, the 1 right there. Yeah, has 11 in trash, so just barely off being able to play for free right there, taking that calling back. Did make it so it's not for free, but now gonna go with the Cocytus to bounce back instead of going for something like removal. This could be bait. I think bait is fine, being able to make your opponent want to kind of go for resources to get back up into their Mega would be nice. But actually, now that I look at it, we no longer have any rookies. There is an MDF right there in the egg slot. That's just kind of Candido's mascot card. Obviously, it's not legal for play, and it is not legal for play because it's signed as it is. So, for any of those who have a question why there's an MDF right there, it's just Candido's little special card that he always got on the field with him. But underneath there, or above that, is usually where the eggs go. No eggs left, so now just going to have to Digivolve up into the Lucemon. Can put a Digimon in there, and then won't be able to play anything out. Gonna have to shuffle up, which is something that a lot of players have been forgetting, so see if they remember. Okay, Candido, a definitely experienced player who's been on the channel and has definitely been called out in the comments a couple times, so gonna be able to get that shuffle in. You do shuffle with Mastemon, regardless if you DNA Digivolve or regular Digivolve, you have to shuffle your security stack, so that is something that a lot of players do forget sometimes. But right now, looks like we're going in for the Nailbone, playing out the Dracomon, thinking that he could grab back the calling, but with Nailbone, you don't have any on-play effects activate, so not going to actually be able to get that calling back into hand, which I think is fine. You could have chosen something else, but I really don't think there are any other options in the deck or rookies that are going to matter, especially when you're just swinging in right there. So a little bit awkward of that first game there, kind of momentum shifty and some interesting plays on both end, but going to see the Three Musketeers take that first game. Just Mastemon wasn't able to DNA more than once, had to hard Masty Digivolve once, didn't really just have too much going for them, and the Three Musketeer player just kind of was having a slow beginning Digimon wise, but then was able to start exploding with the Nailbones as we normally see them do. But now putting the opponent to 3 with the hard play Ginkaku is not exactly what you want. Obviously, it's probably better than passing. If you just pass turn, your opponent is going to be able to you just have put no pressure on the board, as to where this way you do get a 6k, but this is going to result into an end of turn DNA Digivolution here. You were able to discard with the Maycrack, didn't get rid of the Lucemon, put a Psychmon in there, and then actually just going to put the Psychmon in security and play it out. Psychmon, not the worst card, being able to stop the reduction cost of the Death X as well as the Beelstarmon, so it being on the board is a little bit annoying, but we do see the Gwalschwarmer going into trash, and that is big. We saw that able to clear a wide board last game. Obviously, you are going to be able to have to clear the Psychmon if you're going to want to be able to play it for the reduced cost, but we did see them have the Mat Sora last game, and by having that tamer, that means you have a blue and red source naturally, so you could play things like Happy Bullet Showering without needing to play out Beelstar, and we see cards like the, I think that's called Metal Storm, that's in the trash right there, being the Garurumon option, kind of a 5 chop, like it's a pseudo Cocytus Breath. It's very interesting to be playing in this build, but being able to have those options to bounce things and remove things are going to be nice thanks to the Mat Sora. But Happy Full Showering not going to be the best as long as Gazi on the board, because it has the 2k, you want to be popping 3ks, but regardless, it's starting to look a little bit helpless right here. The 3 Musk player kind of starting to fall pretty far behind on the board, and not having the black source or really any way to play Beelstar in a good way right now is going to hurt you. You want to be able to clear, so they're just going to go with the Gazi. There's not a lot of ways to gain memory in here. I'm sure there's memory boosts and whatnot, but nothing on the board to really worry about. I doubt they're playing Jack Raids, but now 2 Gazi, a Sala, a Psychmon, and a Masty on board, so going to go with the Nailbone, going to be able to play out a level 4 or lower. Looks like they're going to go with the Vilemon for the blocker. Was potentially considering the scatter mode too, just for aggression, but being able to block one of these rookies is going to be nice. Going to swing in with the Mastemon and Fly Bullet. I would definitely pop the Psychmon right here. Being able to clear that right there, you do set up now the Death X as well as the Beelstar, so that's a very big hit. Being able to have them go into security, start swinging in. Obviously, when you're going this wide, at some point you're going to have to go in, but when you start swinging in versus decks like this, you are going to hit option cards, which means you are going to lose pieces. We see another Fly Bullet hit. Going to get rid of the Mastemon. Tried to gain the 2 memory from the Maycrack right there, but was stopped by the Gazi, and going in with the Salad, not blocking right there, so being very greedy with the Digimon on the board. Looking to potentially just swing in for game, I would assume. I think that's the only reason why you're not blocking that last check right there. With their other 2 Digimon suspended, there's no real reason to not block there. So I would just assume that they're trying to go in for damage right here. But regardless, that was 3 Fly Bullets in a row in security, I'm pretty sure, which is very nice. The board just became a lot more manageable. What was last turn something that I said was starting to look a little desperate is starting to look a little bit better. Being able to clear multiple things off the board. One of the removal cards kind of didn't target an unsuspended Digimon, which did allow them the extra swing, but did get rid of the Mastemon, so that way they can't go up into a level 7, such as maybe Zwart or even Ordinimon, something like that. You're not sure what your opponent can have, so getting rid of their potential options. And the higher level they go, the more impactful they can probably be. So we're really seeing the power that is these control style decks. The fact that their security is just so safe to be able to start going in. If your opponent goes in, you kind of feel a safety of you're not going to lose immediately, especially when you're playing in a deck like this, which can't do anything about security triggers. Nothing like ADP or Aldemon, and no protection with things like, you know, Garurumon X Antibody, Greymon X Antibody, Doramon. None of that protection in this deck, so looks like we're going to swing in right here, but going for the Nailbone before going in, which means that that first check you swung with the Gazimon, they could have potentially hit removal and hit your Inkaku Promote, so I definitely think you swing in there and then go for the Beelstar, but regardless, didn't matter. Beelstar once again was able to kind of turn that around, a situation that didn't look great, and just some great Fly Bullets into a couple good Nailbones was able to secure that. So if you enjoyed, be sure to like and subscribe, because I'm going to be bringing you even more BT9 content. But with that being said, I hope you have a fantastic day, and I will catch you next time. Peace out!